How's it going, everyone? My name is Sergio Galliano. You're watching a live chat with Henri Tyler. How's it going, Henry?
It's going pretty well, Sergio. How are you doing?
It's been a good day. All right. We did our first episode for live sets. You were on that. We're doing our first episode for live chat. It's exciting. You played 3 songs on live set, though. Pretty interesting songs. Which ones were they?
I did a cover song called Third Planet. That was originally written by Modest Mouse. I chose that song because I think it really reflects a time in my life where I was really branching out, exploring new sides of music that I hadn't before. I was writing a lot of music on my own, and I just think it reflects an important kind of change in my life.
That's good.
I also think that it kind of called for a little bit more, and that's why I choose covers. I played Darling, Couldn't You Come Home, which is an original. It's the first single off my EP that was released November 6th. By the time everyone will be watching this, it will have already been out. We're recording right now a week from November 6th.
Right.
So,
There's a whole time
difference.
difference.
So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
I also played a song called Subway Thoughts, which is a brand new song, not on the album.
Okay.
So this is really the first time
Right.
that anyone's ever going to be able to hear it.
Ooh, kind of an exclusive little thing for live.
Yes.
That's exciting. That's good. That's a good thing, dude. And you know what? I heard the album. Good album.
Thank you.
Good album. All right. So if anyone didn't know, this is a live chat with Henri Tyler. And what we do here is we, as a music fan, talk to a musician about music. It's a really simple thing where we have a discussion, we have 3 topics, and we divide them up week by week. And the last week, it's the full thing with a 3rd topic offered by our resident musician. All right, so let's get right into it. Let's talk about your album, Henry. How'd you do it? Why'd you do it? What's the deal?
Well, I've been playing music in bands for years, in high school, years before that, years after that. And now that I've moved to Philadelphia, I'm studying architecture at Drexel University, and a lot of last year, my first year studying was trying to find a balance between, my studies and my music, which I've been doing my whole life.
I mean, architecture is like a big deal, isn't it? It's like hours, nights of work.
Yeah.
Like what's the...
It eats away at you. I mean, it's a lot to handle, especially just coming into it. It gets easier as it goes. I think you learn how to manage your time and everything, but the first year is definitely is very intensive. It's they rewired your brain. They get you to think a different way. And it's really exciting, but at the same time, for someone who's really trying to cling to something that they've been doing their whole life that's separate from that, it's challenging. It's hard.
How'd you find the time to make an album?
Well, pretty much all the free time I had between the hours of maybe 8 p.m. and 6 a.m.
Jesus.
I linked up with a student who I met at an open mic night, who's a music industry student. He has access to all the Drexel recording studios and all the equipment, and knows he's learning. He's studying himself in that field, and he wanted people to record. I wanted someone to record my music, and it kind of worked that way.
Well, that is a deal and a half if I've ever heard one. There it is. Wow. That's good, dude. But okay. How long did it take you to do this, though? I mean, this is there's some awesome stuff on that album. It sounds well produced, all right? And you're 19. Okay, so this is kind of unprecedented. You don't see this every day, right? So what's the deal with that?
Well, I mean, yeah, so the whole album it's a full band CD.
Right.
So
that's what I'm
playing in bands my whole life, we'd practice in my house. Okay. So the drum set, the bass guitars, all the amps, they'd be in my basement. And when I come home from school, I didn't know how to play the drums, but I sit down on the drums and I just play. And kind of over time, skills developed and songs that I heard in my head that I had written by myself, as apart from writing collectively with a whole band, which produces a very different outcome than writing songs that reflect your own experiences and your own feelings. I would be able to hear the songs that I heard in my head with all of the instruments, not with just an acoustic guitar, which is how I wrote the songs. And eventually I kind of thought, I can do this. the drums that I hear in my head, I can actually play. I can sit on the drums and play them. The bass, I can back some guitar.
All right.
And it kind of worked that way. And just over time, skills developed, and I was able to just kind of make physicality out of the things that I heard in my head for so long.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. Give me some background, some inside scoops on this album. Okay. I mean, I know that in the album you have like backing vocals. Like, where'd you get those? Is that you?
I mean, what's a lot of what a producer does, a sound engineer does with you in the studio is listen to your music from an unbiased perspective and say, you know what, I think you can add some backing vocals here. I think you can add a little bit of lead here. It seems a little bit empty here. It seems a little bit too cluttered here. Blah blah blah. Stuff like that. And they're really there to kind of help you work through these songs, especially with me. I knew that I had never, recorded demos for any of this music. This has all just been, like I said earlier, in my head for so long. Right. Yeah. Almost a year for some of these songs.
Dang.
So that's really what they're there for, kind of to help you through it, work it out,
Oh, that's good. All right, well, let's move on, okay? Here's the deal, right? You did this on your own, all right? That's kind of a feat because you got a lot of stuff going on, all right? I need you to talk to me about, like, what's going on with musicians your age trying to get out there?
I mean, what are you talking specifically around this area, or just people my age in general?
Yeah. Okay. So that, yeah. All right. That's different, right? Those are two separate beasts, right? I'm talking about maybe around this area, okay? Because or maybe around in general, right? Because you have people who want to be out there sharing their music and they can't
because they don't know how.
Because they don't know.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to kind of break that barrier if you've just been playing in your room for years, and you want to get out and you want to get out and show people your music and have people listen to your music and want to listen to your albums and download them on the internet or buy them, whatever. It's really kind of comes down to who you know and who's actually out there right now playing and who can say, yo, hop on this show. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna play with you. I'm gonna. It's kind of about those connections that you make, and it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, you got Pete Rosenberg.
Well, yes, I mean, someone who records, that's one thing, but playing live is a whole other animal.
Oh,
it's a whole other thing.
Oh yeah, and,
you know what I mean?
And the basement shows and the house shows of Philadelphia.
Well, they're basement shows, they're house shows, they're there's a bar scene, they're actual venues.
Yeah.
And I mean, something that I want is I would really like to have a band to play out, to fill out the sound that's on my album. But right now, all I have is me and an acoustic guitar. So I can only play the version that I write standalone.
What you play on the show isn't bad at all. I mean,
what I played on the show is just that.
Okay, yeah.
It's just the version that I write with the acoustic guitar.
Okay, it's different.
It's different than
different
putting
thing.
It with drums and lead guitars and bass and rhythm guitars and electric guitars. That's a whole other. It brings it to life so much more. But I mean, each version I think it's standalone and talk about its own the message in a different way.
Yeah, I mean it's all about the message. Okay, I mean it's just about trying to get out there. You know what I mean? If you're that kind of person, you're personable. You can get out there. You can talk to the person you got to talk to. There it is. I mean, honestly, right? With what we're doing here, it's just a sharing thing. Right? It's just making sure that these artists have that equal opportunity. You know what I mean? Here's the truth. We're doing this for free. Sponsored by Drexel University. We got this equipment. And we got you.
Well, you just said we're doing this for free.
Yeah.
I mean, money is a huge aspect to not only recording, but to being able to play out. Equipment costs money. Sometimes getting on a show could cost money. I mean, I think there's a lot of factors, and if you don't have that money, then it sometimes it can be really challenging to kind of make those moves.
Yeah, it gets in the way, especially.
That's why it's really about who you know and who's willing to do things for you and who's willing to not necessarily do things for you, but maybe
do things work with you.
Right, absolutely.
It's artists. It's a collaboration thing, right?
Absolutely.
The whole premise of live is it's a a dialogue, right, between artist and non-artist music fan, right? I mean, I grew up around musicians, okay? And I think the most important thing about music is sharing music,
right?
Okay, because like, what's the use of having it to yourself? You know what I mean? It's all about letting other people experience the same emotions that you get to experience, right? I mean,
good or bad.
Good or bad.
I think it's just sharing those emotions.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like, here, feel this because this was awesome. It could be detrimental. It could be really upsetting kind of thing, but it's about kind of letting people in on that side of you.
Okay. I mean, let's move on to your topic though. What did you want to talk about today?
Well, I mean, I think something that I've been thinking about, especially, at the point that I am now in my music career, which is I have this album and I want to get out there and I want to start playing. I want to share my music with people. I think I want to talk about the talent that is, feels that they can be out there, that they can gain some sort of a following. They think that people,
the potentials, right?
The potentials that don't know necessarily how, or don't have those connections. What it kind of boils down to kind of breaking that roadblock.
So like what? Like how they do it? Or like what are you saying? Like,
I mean, I think it's a little bit of how and it's a little bit of maybe like just kind of that potential that they're kind of just sitting on.
I mean, a little bit of how comes in the charisma of it. I mean, that's what I think, right? Like if you're charismatic enough to go to a bar, I mean, isn't that, we were speaking earlier? I think you're going to play at Wahoo's, aren't you?
I spoke to the manager.
Right, Wahoo's is a venue here at Drexel University where you're going to play at a bar. I mean, that's a whole thing where you're going to. You spoke to the manager and you said to him, "Hey, let me play."
Well, I just said, "Hey, I mean, I even have my guitar. I just came from an open mic right before that, and I said, "Hey, listen, I hear that people play at your bar, and I want to. How do I get involved in that?" And he said, "All right, well." How about, we exchange some information and why don't you send me some, your SoundCloud link? Why don't you send me the music that's online, and I need to figure out if you're good or not.
Okay, yeah.
And that might be one of the biggest, step in the process. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember seeing an interview with Dave Grohl, and it was talking about
Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl, the lead
singer of the Foo Fighters.
Singer of the Foo Fighters, yes.
Of course.
Founder of the Foo Fighters, played in Nirvana. Whatever. He's a huge animal in the music industry right now. Probably the biggest rock band right now. He has a lot to say and a lot of authority on musicians in the music industry. And I think that one of the things he said was that they were discussing young artists and how they can kind of get out there. And what is the most important thing about, getting into that music industry? How do they do that? And really what he said is, you got to be fucking good. Like, you got to play a show, and you have to have people in the audience thinking, wow, I want to listen to that.
Is that the quote? You got to be fucking good.
You have to be fucking good.
I mean, yeah, it's
and
true.
That's really what it boils down to. I mean, you can market yourself on social media all you want. You can have as much recorded music all you want. Recorded music sometimes isn't genuine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole other topic that we can get into. But if you can play live and you can have people sit in front of you at a show and think, wow, there's something here, then you've done your job. You can go home and you can sleep easy, because those people are going to go home and they're going to search for you on the internet, and they're going to get your record at that show. They're going to listen to it on the way home in their car. You know what I mean? It's just about making that impression. And how do you make an impression? You have to be fucking good.
You have to be fucking good. That's the only way to do it.
That's it.
Well, I hope that live can get fucking good for the artists out there. And you know what? You can catch us every week here at the live channel on YouTube.
Right.
And so, you know what? We're going to wrap the show up right here.
Actually, before we wrap up, I want to interject. I want to say one thing. I think you've already taken that step to kind of making this a successful project, because what's so great about this idea of live chats and live sets is that it provides the opportunity for artists like me and other musicians, other artists, to come in and not only display and show kind of what they're made of and what they've been sitting on or what they've been playing out or whatever. Right. They're also able to come down and sit at this table with you and make sense of it all. They can explain it, and they can kind of not as much defend their music,
right,
not shove it in people's faces saying, this is why this is good.
This is good music.
Absolutely.
I swear.
What it's about is about talking about it and kind of allowing that kind of barrier to be broken and say, this is why I did this, and this is how I did this, and I hope that someone can take something from that. And so it really kind of provides that fourth kind of wall. You know what I mean? That fourth.
You flatter us, Henri Tyler.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. Everybody go check out his album. It's already out.
November 6th. Check it out on soundcloud.com/Henri Tyler Music, henrytylermusic.bandcamp.com. Available for free download on my Bandcamp.
For free.
So
nobody likes paying for stuff.
Absolutely nobody. So please check it out. Thank you for watching live.
Thank you for watching live. Thank you for coming on live, Henri Tyler. I appreciate it.
It's been great.
And as always, thank you for watching.